There is a particular kind of loneliness that is difficult to explain to others. It's not the loneliness of being physically alone. It's something quieter and more confusing than that. Part 50 is about the feeling of being surrounded by people and still feeling completely alone inside. Many people experience moments like this. You may be sitting with friends, talking with coworkers, or spending time with family. From the outside, everything looks normal. Conversations are happening, laughter appears, people are interacting. But internally, something feels disconnected. It feels as if you are present physically, but not emotionally part of what is happening around you. You respond to conversations. You smile when appropriate. You participate in activities, yet inside there is a subtle distance that never fully disappears. This experience often creates a strange question in the mind. How is it possible to feel lonely when you are not alone? The answer lies in the difference between social presence and emotional connection. Human beings do not simply need people around them. They need to feel understood, seen, and emotionally connected to those people. When that deeper connection is missing, the presence of others does not fully remove the feeling of isolation. In fact, sometimes it makes the loneliness more noticeable. When you see others interacting easily while you feel internally distant, it can create the impression that you exist slightly outside the emotional circle of the group. Part 50 explores how this experience often develops through life events that shape how a person relates to others. One common factor is emotional misunderstanding. If someone repeatedly experiences moments where their feelings are dismissed, ignored, or misunderstood, the mind begins to expect that deeper emotions will not be received well. Over time, this expectation can lead to emotional withdrawal. Instead of sharing thoughts openly, you begin keeping them inside. You may still talk about daily events or neutral topics, but the deeper parts of your inner experience remain private. This creates a version of connection that exists on the surface, but not at the level where genuine closeness develops. Another reason people feel alone around others is the habit of emotional self-reliance. Many individuals learn early in life that they must handle their feelings independently. Perhaps the people around them were unavailable, distracted, or dealing with their own difficulties. Instead of receiving support, the person learns to process emotions internally. This strategy can make someone appear strong and independent, but it also creates a barrier to emotional closeness later in life. When you become accustomed to solving everything alone, sharing vulnerability with others can feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable. Part 50 also reveals the role of social roles. In many environments, people feel pressure to present a certain version of themselves. At work, you may feel expected to appear professional and composed. With certain friends, you may feel expected to appear confident or humorous. With family, you may feel expected to behave according to long-standing expectations. When someone spends a large amount of time performing these roles, they may begin to feel that the real version of themselves is not fully visible to anyone. You might be interacting with people constantly, yet still feel unseen. Another important element is emotional depth. Some individuals naturally think and feel more deeply than others around them. They reflect on meaning, identity, purpose, and relationships more frequently. When conversations remain focused on surface topics, this deeper inner world may remain unshared. Over time, the person may feel that the part of themselves that matters most is never truly expressed. This creates a form of internal loneliness, even when social interaction is frequent. Part 50 also explores the influence of modern communication. Technology allows people to remain constantly connected through messages, posts, and updates. But digital interaction does not always provide the emotional presence that real connection requires. You may communicate with dozens of people throughout the day while still feeling that no one truly understands what you are experiencing internally. This difference between constant communication and genuine connection can intensify feelings of loneliness rather than reduce them. Another factor behind this experience is emotional protection. If someone has been hurt in previous relationships, they may unconsciously limit how much of themselves they reveal to others. By maintaining emotional distance, the mind reduces the risk of future disappointment or rejection. But this protection also limits the depth of connection that relationships can reach. People may know your personality, your interests, and your opinions, yet still not know your deeper fears, hopes, or struggles. Without that level of openness, relationships remain incomplete. Part 50 also highlights the role of belonging. Humans naturally seek environments where they feel accepted for who they truly are. When someone spends long periods of time in environments where they feel different or misunderstood, the sense of belonging weakens. You may interact politely with people around you, but internally you feel like an observer rather than a participant. The conversations continue, but something essential feels missing. Part 50 moves toward a deeper understanding of what real connection requires. Genuine connection does not come simply from proximity, it comes from authenticity. When two people share experiences honestly, listen without judgment, and allow vulnerability to exist between them, something powerful happens. The sense of isolation begins to dissolve. You no longer feel like you must perform or adapt constantly. Instead, you feel recognized and accepted. For someone who has experienced loneliness in social environments, creating that level of openness may feel difficult at first. It requires gradually allowing others to see more of your real thoughts and emotions. This process takes time because trust must develop slowly, but each moment of authentic connection becomes evidence that emotional closeness is possible. Part 50 ends with an important realization. Feeling alone around people does not mean you are incapable of connection. It often means that the kind of connection you need has not fully appeared yet. Humans do not simply need interaction. They need understanding. When understanding begins to grow within relationships, the quiet distance that once existed inside you begins to fade. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because the space between you and others finally became real connection instead of simple proximity.